Hey, what's going on? This is the pre-Christmas Eve post-Star Wars Rise of Skywalker edition of the IT and the D show. And we have, again, an all-star ensemble get in the studio tonight. Dave Santia's in the house, painter, Star Wars nerd extraordinaire. Greg Walters in the house, one half of the Gregs of Ann Arbor, IT and the D.
We have Greg 1.
Greg won. Jamie Mouton's in the house, seen the movie and lived to tell the tale. And then, Bob, Dave, and Randy in the house as well.
And we'll see who else shows up because, timing.
It's going to happen. So, yeah, you know what? You may fire when ready.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm Wyatt, that's Gary, you're Bob, and you're Dave. This is the IT and the D Show.
This is Max Headroom. And what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now. And remember, IT in the D, it works every time.
Where do you guys think you are? The Library of Congress? Detroit? Beyond the sun? Any of those right?
Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Everything but that! No!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
Hey guys, this is Ty Mogg, Bruce Leroy from The Last Dragon. You're listening to the IT&D Show.
Hi, this is Christy Swanson, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. And Bob and Dave touch my hoo-hoos.
This is Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley, and the only two guys I hate more than Dinesh are Bob and Dave. Suck it, guys.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT and the D Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the geek off.
Hi, this is David Kay, the voice of Professor Xavier. Storm, come here, Storm. Sit on my lap, Storm. You're listening to IT and the D.
Are we at a break yet?
Hey everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. You're listening to IT and the D. And if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
This is the ladies' man.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT and the D. All you nerds out there.
Nerds.
Nerds.
What is a nerd?
Hi, this is Ogre. You listen to a bunch of nerds on the IT and the D? Nerds.
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Hey, Detroit, this is Anthony Michael Hall. You're listening to my buddies Bob and Dave on IT in the D.
Hi, it's Count Chocula, and you're listening to IT in the D. What the hell did I do?
Hey, what up? This is Jay Muse, and you're listening to the IT and D Show. Snooch to the nooch. Listen, Muse, Snoogans.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump Pump. The IT and the D Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
This is Robert Hayes, the Ted Striker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat stick.
Hi, this is Jeremy London from Mallrats, and I'm just wondering, how did I go from Hot Floridian Sex with Brandy spinning to the IT and D Show?
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. Tough guy. Ho!
Dig you IT geeks. This is Dre DeMatteo from Sons of Anarchy. You are listening to IT and the D.
Skeptical Dave is skeptical.
Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Men. I'm a techie. I'm a nerd, fellow podcaster. My favorite podcast is IT and the D.
Hi, this is Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science.
So,
Bob and Dave, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do. The question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
All right, so we're here for the Saturday Night Live review episode, and
What is going on? No, we did that during the break. Hey, this is the episode 328. This is the one and only IT and the D show, broadcasting live here in Studio One in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob the Sales Guy, Dave the Geek, Randy, I do the Twitters. Find us online, itandthed.com, and do us a favor, give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere. Fine podcasts are sold.
Yeah, hey, thanks for everyone that came out Friday night to Whiskey in the Jar and donated online for Augie's birthday. Friendship House, very, very cool charity, good thing. I think the donation links are still open for another 3 or 4 days. If you want to donate online, do that. We actually have all the Ann Arbor events out for next year. We actually got asked why we didn't have any scheduled out for the Metro Detroit area. And it's because we have shit to do and we have lives and we have crap going on. They'll be there when they get there.
And I can't move.
Relax. Yes, we're still doing events.
And I'm on crutches and IV.
Dude, somebody actually asked at the video, how come everything's in Ann Arbor? How come because we haven't published them yet. That's why. Shut up.
Because I still got a pick line in my arm. That's why.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry the free beer isn't cold enough for you. Shut up.
But hey, we all saw Star Wars and lived to tell the tale.
How many times?
I just saw it once.
Once.
Okay.
We saw it in the gorgeous IMAX theater at the AMC Mound in the 1970s chairs that no one can fit in.
Dude, I was kind of stuck. Like and my bad because I bought the tickets this time.
You yelled at me for 6 months for buying those last year.
I absolutely did. Well, no, okay. Number one, I yelled at you because you bought 3D tickets. And
no, I would never do that.
Do I need to go back? Do we need to go back and say?
Yeah, you're going to be wrong once again.
The first one was 3D. The first time we saw it was 3D.
The first time, fine.
It was horrible.
Whatever.
But yeah, no, I assumed an IMAX theater, they're going to have the big comfy seats. Shame on me and them for assuming.
Well, it's not real IMAX either, so.
I got duped too because I bought it through Fandango and, at the same theater, and it wasn't IMAX, but on Fandango it said recliner seats. Dude, they were from cheap seats.
Yeah,
from
it was the old Showcase Cinema on 15 in Van Dyke seats, like from the 80s. Yeah.
So, but then I saw it Sunday, dude, and you have talked about this before. This was my first experience with the D-box seats.
Oh, those suck.
It was kind of cool.
When you moved?
My kids were kind of freaked out by it. It was kind of
cool.
I
got sick, and I saw Solo in that, and I got sick in 30 seconds, and I turned them off. It was a bunch of garbage.
D-box.
Yeah, you imagine theaters got these things, it's like, you know when you go to like Universal Studios and Disney, it's like those bullshit motion rides?
I got you.
And you sit in the seat and it like shakes and rocks for you, and you're like, knock it off.
That's stupid.
But the good thing is they got a controller on the side. You could like make it like 1, 2, 3, 0. So it went to 0 as quick as that thing moved. Because you look at Solo, the first scene was like the car chase scene.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like swaying the seat. And I'm like, I'm going to throw up.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to throw up. So no. But hey, let's introduce everyone around the room real quick, and then let's dive in. Obviously, Dave Santia, you heard in the intro. Star Wars, probably one of the biggest nerds. I think you're still 12 years old, if I'm not mistaken. You still collect the dolls. You still have the toys. But you're one of the
they're action figures.
Whatever. Greg, why the hell are you here?
I love Star Wars.
Is that why? All right, fine. And then he
was like, is there room for me in the recap?
Right.
So I'm like, yes.
Look, I need to spew about this movie with somebody, and y'all agree to it. So,
and then like I mentioned earlier, I saw the original movie when I was 4 with my folks. Saw Empire at 7, Jedi at 10. I still have the Darth Vader head. The only gun I've ever lost is the Yoda snake around his neck. I lost it in my backyard, and I still hate myself for it. It's not a gun, but I still have all the guns. They match up. I took them all apart. Yeah.
Check the serial numbers. Everything's good.
Everything's good. Everything checks out. I still have the Emperor doll that I got with all the box tops, or with the
the one with a little slide out lightning.
Yeah. And the Duke. I still have the G.I. Joe Duke that you could get with those two. You have to buy 5 figures, then you mail in.
Yeah.
To my left, Jamie Mouton, one of my oldest friends, Star Wars nerd, and TLJ hater. I'll throw that out there.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan.
Which is fine. We want, like I said last week, we want dissenting opinion.
But we were chatting before the show.
Yeah.
And he has a little more context now.
We'll wait for the big reveal. Yeah. But yeah, I wanted dissenting opinion. I didn't want to sit here and all go, yeah, woo-hoo. And then Randy, Why the hell are you here again? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. He does the Twitters. No, you're a sci-fi nerd.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You're more Trekkie though, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. But Star Wars is still enjoyable.
That's fair. That's fair. So I mean, we can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way. We kind of knew what it was like last week. I think everything that we kind of said was going to happen kind of did happen.
Mm-hmm. In most cases, yes.
Abrams had a big plate.
Here's the one there's one thing we all missed on. Chewie and Lando did not die.
Right. We thought everyone was going to die.
That was the one thing that I think we all agreed on was that Chewie and Lando were going to die somehow in the Falcon during a battle.
I didn't think that they were going to
Yeah,
die.
they were gonna. I thought they were gonna blow it up like the original draft of Return of the Jedi.
I thought maybe Lando might, possibly would have died, and that maybe something would happen to Millennium Falcon, like you were saying, But I wasn't surprised that it didn't. I mean, the Millennium Falcon is pretty iconic.
Yeah.
But they have like that.
We didn't, I forgot to say it. I'm really sorry if anyone hasn't seen the film. Spoiler, this whole show.
I'll take a moment just to go, hey, this is a very heavily spoiler-laden
if you haven't seen the movie,
film.
Watch it later.
If you haven't watched
later.
it, come back and listen to this when you have. Thank you. Okay.
Fair. All right.
Well, I thought for sure they were going to blow it up because, sometimes they have, what is it called, like in movies, prelude?
Yes.
Like at the beginning, they show that, they had the chase scene and the Falcon was just decimating. Like, what'd you do to the ship? And I thought that was kind of like a foreshadow.
Right.
So I thought for sure. And then, of course, later on in the movie, they did kill Chewie, but
they didn't. Yeah.
Right.
So.
They
did it. No.
Right. When the Millennium Falcon was on fire, I thought the same thing. Oh, that's it. Even like the theater that I was in, the audience was like, oh man.
But I think the general consensus was overall. We'll get into details.
General consensus.
Yes. Yes.
See underneath.
No, but then it was. There's never a movie that's ever going to be flawless. But I think JJ did everything in his power to right the wrongs of The Last Jedi to make a.
I will argue. No, I'm going to argue that. I don't think he righted the wrongs. I think he
gave fan service.
He finished the stories. So that was my entire point. That was my point last week. Is everybody was judging The Last Jedi with a movie still forthcoming.
Yeah.
The same way they judged. We were talking about this before the show. The same way they judged Empire. Mm-hmm. With a movie still forthcoming. Everybody was pissed about Leia all of a sudden knows the Force. Okay, well, the continuation of that story is she trained with Luke. She did the thing. Yeah. They were pissed about that. All right, well, here's the rest of that story. We couldn't fit it all into one goddamn movie. Right. Give us a minute.
Well, then JJ made like 3 movies and he fit it into one. I mean, let's be honest. This thing was.
Oh, it was packed.
And it was like I called it. It was Endgame-esque. Meaning they threw the kitchen sink at us. There was one point where it almost slowed down a bit where I was surprised because I expected it to be just nonstop, holy shit, throw. And then it actually followed a actual story.
And that's the thing. Like from a storyline perspective overall, I thought it killed it because it did. I mean, it did what I think we all wanted it to do. Because I think just going back, because I went back and I listened to the episode before this, and I think that, we all wanted closure. We all wanted no big, heavy, major loose ends still lingering out there. We got the answer about Rey. We got the answer about, Kylo Ren. We got the answer about, all this other stuff. Yeah, I mean, it's like I posted as we walked out of the theater. It was exactly what it needed to be for me. And at the end of the day, I went, Thursday night with the guys. I took the kids yesterday. Dude, my kids do not sit. I mean, I have a 12-year-old and 10-year-old. Anyone who has kids knows that that age does not sit still for anything.
Or they fall asleep in the theater.
Okay. Yeah. So number one. My only complaint about the movie isn't actually the movie. It's the FU.
Oh, here we go.
All the theaters that are putting 20 goddamn 5 minutes of trailers and stupid effing commercials before a 2 hour and 20 effing movie.
Dude, our movie was 9.
my ass.
Our movie was 9:30.
9:45, started at 10:10.
Yeah. Yeah, 10:11. I looked at my phone. I'm like, what the F is going on?
Same, and it was the same thing yesterday with the kids. It was a 12:45 show, actually started at 1:10.
And the trailers were all bullshit. It wasn't anything we haven't seen.
Well, dude, they were one of them was a goddamn car commercial that looked like a feature-length movie about zombies and shit. I'm like, what the hell is this crap?
Oh, the IMAX one?
Screw you, Honda, or whoever the hell it was.
And the weird IMAX mini movie thing where they were busting into the concert. And what was that?
Oh, I lean over to Tulio. I go, $100. It's a Coke commercial because it went on for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, what in the blue hell?
Also, the Wonder Woman 84 trailer, loved that. Like that.
Which one?
Wonder Woman 84.
Oh, yeah.
That actually, they didn't show that
we didn't see
Thursday
that one.
night. I saw that yesterday in the theater. Yeah. Looks phenomenal, all about it, because, well, it's the 80s. Go forth and be happy. But yeah, so dude, the entire so I was telling these guys before the show, the only time during the trailers, there was one that looked kind of stupid. I can't remember which, Free Guy, Deadpool 1.0, whatever that movie is. Looks kind of cute.
No, Tulio goes Ready Player 2.
Oh,
yeah.
I was gonna say it seemed more like what was that movie? R.I.P.D. That movie he did with
whoever came up with that movie needs to be injected with Ebola. I'm just saying.
Wow.
No, I'm still angry about that movie. But no, so it was like one that looked kind of stupid, and they're like, "Oh, join us for it." My daughter, 12 years old, smart ass little mini me, just goes, "The theater's stone cold quiet. He's here." Nah.
Nice.
But through the movie, stone cold silence from them the entire time. And I would look over every now and then to make sure they weren't sleeping.
Yeah.
Dude, just eyes huge. And they're just on jaws and as soon as the movie, as soon as the credits hit, no. That's what I wanted it to be for them.
So can we get it out of the way, the crap we hated, or do we wait till later on? 'Cause there's one part that's so here's the thing. I walked out of there going, giddy, 12-year-old, amazing.
Yeah.
And then I made the mistake of watching the YouTube spoiler reviews.
Okay.
And the one thing that just sticks out, not the Goonies, the pay homage to Goonies is one thing. Yeah, with the knife, and then
coming out of the blade,
with the three rocks, with the 3 rock coin from Goonies. But here's the part that gets me. So here you have this archaic dagger,
right?
That's got the Goonies map to the Wayfinder,
yeah,
and it's in basically 40-year-old wreckage, because it's in the Death Star.
I saw that too,
and it was kind of like.
So I almost counted that as a plot hole.
You want it to be 1,000-year-old.
I almost counted that as a plot hole, but so he was hunting Jedi long after that. So that was that I could see as maybe an addition, an addendum thing put into it, whatever, fine. But that does lead into my one plot hole in the movie. How does something as big as the Death Star crash into a planet, and that is not an extinction level event?
We didn't see any native species on Kefbir.
And it was just
sure we did. There were all. Do you think they brought those horses with them, or whatever the hell
Probably.
they were?
We don't know they were native.
The riding the horses was stupid too. By the way,
Thank you.
Yes, the horses were completely useless through the whole movie.
Well, there's a reason
but
for
it. But then you jam their speeders.
Exactly.
We can't. Why? They're not riding speeders.
And
That's
Finn
why
was
they got the horses.
And he was a stormtrooper, so he knew that. So he actually had something good to contribute to the movie.
Then I'm playing Bonanza in my head, dun 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 dun.
I mean, it's a space western.
It's a space western. No, I get it.
So let's go. Obviously, the big one, Palpatine. That's the big. I mean, they already knew it was coming from the trailers and that kind of stuff, but the Palpatine reveal was
in the crawl.
Interesting. Well, yeah.
And Fortnite.
But it's that. Honestly, that was the interesting part to me, where they've never done such a major plot point in the crawl.
I felt the same way. I felt that the opening crawl itself probably could have been a movie.
Yeah,
all the information that they had in there.
Yeah. That could have been that could have been or at least a good 20 minutes, and maybe that's why they did it.
Yeah.
I mean, that could have been at least a good 20, 30 minutes, because we never hear that first message that goes out. We never hear, we don't see any of the reactions to it, any of that kind of stuff.
I mean, every crawl could have been a movie. If you think back to the originals, every crawl is, and by the way, between films, all this shit happened. And now we're picking up where it's important.
Yeah, but it's been relatively, but they've been
vague,
minorly explanatory, not or expositionary. They're not Palpatine being back is a huge
the crawls
thing.
have gotten simpler as the movies have progressed.
Yeah.
If you look at how they were a little bit cryptic in 4, 5, and 6, even in 1, 2, and 3, they were okay. The trade wars, and they were kind of a little bit vague. And it seems like 7, 8, 9, they were just like you got like a 9-year-old to write them.
Well, so and that's the funny, 1, 2, and 3, looking back at those crawls, and I haven't read the novelization of this movie yet, but if you go back and read the novelizations of the movies, they basically, the crawl is the first 2 chapters of the book.
I was going to say, didn't we get Grievous in a crawl?
Yeah.
He was introduced in a crawl too. So
yeah.
You know what I'm super thankful of? And we can jump back. That there wasn't like the super duper Star Killer base, Death Star
planet. But there were 300 ships.
I'd rather have that
with
all day.
Death Stars on them.
That's fine. I'd rather have that all day. At least it wasn't a God blessed Death Star.
Like a sun Death Star?
Right.
Oh, the Sun Killer? Yeah, I was super happy to have passed on that.
Good old Kevin Anderson. God bless him.
But my only thing about the whole, what's the one thing I said I didn't want to see last week? I didn't want to see any more of this, the Force is genetic bullshit. And then what did they go to? You're the bloodline purity, and you have this power because you're of this bloodline.
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope.
Because that falls into my biggest complaint. With
So you may be stronger in it because of blood, but dude, look at any fantasy series, whether it's magic, the Force, or anything. There's a bloodline thing. It's a thing. But then you've got Finn, who senses when something's going on with Rey, who senses where the command ship is, who senses where this stuff's. Because they didn't bring Broom Boy back. I was a little sad.
Yeah,
but they did.
Was Finn a wasted character at the end of the day?
Yes.
Because I mean, if you look at 8 completely just trashed on him, and then
Rose was a wasted character.
Yeah.
Rose too, but they tried to make Finn relevant at least in 9 to a degree.
No, he was much better. He was confident. He wasn't just running around.
But if you look at 7, he's wielding a goddamn lightsaber, holding his own against a Jedi that should have just destroyed him with one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Well, with Finn, what I would have liked to see, and I think my theory is that they're going to do this for another trilogy or another movie, is at the end of this movie. I'm sorry. At the end of this movie, they're going to, or at the end of the movie when Lando, doing a little mic adjustment here.
Sorry.
A little distracting. When Lando talked to that one gal, the other defecting
Let's go find out, yeah.
I hope they take that story and find out where she came from, how they defected, because that's what I thought they were going to do with Finn over the course of the 3 movies, and I was excited that a stormtrooper who saw the light and is going to come full circle. Obviously can't do that with Rey's story and everyone else's story, but I hope they do that moving forward, because they should have done that. In my opinion, should have done that with Finn.
I can see that. And that was I'm disappointed that he as an actor has come out and said he doesn't want to be Disney Plussed.
All three of them said that.
His exact term. Because I think that would be a great explore and honestly that was one of the weird things to me is you've got. So him, the whole sinking into the sand. I never told you, and we all knew what he was going to say.
What?
Yeah, that's the debate.
I love you. You know he was.
No, I got to back Dave up on this.
That's totally. Kiss my ass if you don't think that's what he was going to say.
That's
what we think, but
those
now
big puppy dog eyes through all 3 movies.
I think J.J. Abrams came out and said that he was going to say that he was Force sensitive.
To your point, what you just said.
Yeah, I thought that he was going to say what you said. I love you, but yeah,
I know.
See, I like that they left it hanging because it gives idiots like us something.
They left it open for a phenomenal threesome there at the end of the movie with the 3 of them.
I'd watch it.
There's your headcanon. They're a polycule.
Is that Disney Plus?
Hey, by the way, on a side note, I think I ruined Star Wars forever, and we've never talked about this. And we were arguing at work, and I brought this up, and everyone was like, "I just ruined Star Wars for them." So
apparently I ruined the Ewoks for Jamie. So
no. So here's the thing: you have the most badass ass Jedi and Sith Lords fighting each other.
Yes.
At what point does Darth Vader not just use his Force power to turn off the lightsaber of the person he's fighting with and just kill him? Because they have little buttons on them that goes pew, and turn it off, and then
Kind
you
of
get
like, why doesn't he just pop out everybody's eyeballs?
pop out, pop out, blow up your heart. Like, why doesn't the eyeball one was last year's, wasn't it?
Yeah. Why did he take the disc from the rebels in Rogue One?
You
can go on and on and on.
Stop a laser bullet, but you can't. No, but again, it ruins every good lightsaber fight.
But that was part. So getting back, the part of the Palpatine reveal, which I thought was interesting, was okay. What's the scoop with Snoke?
Right.
And like the cloning vats with.
Did they retcon with that?
Basically, the alien resurrection Snokes.
Yeah, I like that. That's exactly.
Why couldn't it
what
have been just Palpatine?
What do you mean?
Like, why did they have to have Snoke?
Well, so I think
you know what I'm saying.
I think that was his point. Was that if he would have come out as Palpatine at that point, dude? I mean, look at Kylo Ren's reaction to Palpatine coming out.
Threat
was okay. I'm gonna go kill him. So all right, but if I throw this other intermediary in there, maybe he listens to him. Maybe he follows him, even though it's me being the puppet master.
And going by that too, like, not saying I wasn't a fan, but like it seemed like Hux was kind of like slapped together and thrown away like really quickly.
All the new characters got done dirty. My main complaint about this film is that it hated a lot of its characters in a way I've not seen since Zack Snyder in Superman. It spent 60 minutes sort of sidelining people, and they should have just written them out and been like, they're on a mission doing something. Let's get back to more longer space battle, more lightsaber duels. You felt it was a really Infinity War, right? Like boom, 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 boom,
Well, if you
boom.
look at like me and Rich were texting back and forth and arguing a little bit about it. And he goes, "Yeah, they're introducing way too many new characters." And I go, "Jedi introduced a ton of new characters, and it wasn't a bad thing."
No, you can introduce new characters, but if you don't have anything to do for the old ones, put them off screen.
Like, did Rose even say anything in this movie?
Yes. I'm going to go check out blueprints of old Star Destroyers.
Her role was cut down significantly, and I think that was. I'm betting that had to do with a lot of the fan reaction. Same way as Jar Jar Binks' role was cut down.
Absolutely.
I
couldn't agree more with that.
Well, they made her almost have a nervous breakdown for crying out loud.
For sure.
I mean, the character was fine, but the story they had her go on in the last movie was horrible.
I agree. I mean, a lot of it was unnecessary. With the
whole Canto Bight thing was useless.
Yeah, I mean that could have been cut down.
Well, you mentioned another point about how many characters you need, this and this and that, and that's why I posed the question on Facebook: which trilogy was worse or better, the Matrix trilogy or this new Disney Star Wars movie or trilogy? Because they had, you remember the Matrix, they introduced all these new characters in the second one, Reloaded, which you only got a little bit of. It was mostly.
It was kind of a trash film too.
I liked the Reloaded. The last one,
the Ghost Twins were amazing.
I love that.
Oh yeah, that was good.
And then the third one was. And the third one, they focused 100% on like these new characters that if you played the video game in between, you would get more like Jada Smith and all that. And then Neo was kind of there.
Yeah.
What would have pissed people?
Became Superman.
So, everyone hated that movie. Universal, like, Reloaded's a good follow-up. It's not as good as the original, but, we could deal. And then you saw Revolutions. You're like, oh, no.
What would have pissed people off more? I just throw this out there. Force Ghost Anakin or Rey and Kylo holding hands going back to Tatooine together, and, like, she gets all domesticated and gives him a glass of blue milk.
Can we have both? I want both.
Because we were going to, like, the ending could have went 6 different ways.
The cowardice, and I will say this is straight cowardice. Ben doesn't get a Force Ghost. Everyone else who disappeared like that got to be a Force Ghost.
True.
Ben didn't get to show up as a Force Ghost.
But he was Sith.
Well, but there was no.
He returned and then he faded away.
Yeah, because if he was Sith, he would have gone out in a blaze of glory.
Yeah, true.
And I think, and that's a lot of the whole. I think that has a lot to do with Leia holding on, which is why her body doesn't disappear until his does.
Even though she.
Well, did you see the video like when she goes, "I'm the Force" and all those voices? Did you see a YouTube video that had of who they all were?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, like Ahsoka and Freddie Prinze Jr.
Elia Secura.
When we were walking out of the theater, Skippy McTwitters over here was like, already on IMDb, like pulling him up, and I'm like, yeah, I know that one, I know that one, I know that one.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, I never watched Rebels, so I don't know that one.
Yeah.
The idea, with the fact that Ahsoka's voice was spoken, that tells me right there Ahsoka's obviously dead.
Oh, that's right.
Right, which
has to be.
Right, which, to answer your question as to was the Emperor hunting a Jedi after Return of the Jedi, well, obviously it was. I mean, that's what I would assume with her being dead.
Well, that's what they were hinting at her being in the movie, and I guess technically she was in the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see something like that in Mando.
Speaking of new trilogy characters done dirty, they had Maz Kanata back in this one in person, but she didn't have her goggles on, so her eyeballs looked like buttholes.
Yeah, and it was
and looks a lot like Mitch McConnell. I'm just saying.
That was from Saturday Night Live, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it wasn't what's her name playing her?
It was Lupita Nyong'o.
Is she in the credits?
Yeah.
I gotta look.
But again,
I don't believe you.
5 lines doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, just there.
Could have just cut it and gave us more starships.
No, but she was always an ancillary segue character. Like she was never a main driving.
It was the
character.
diner cook with the Camino dart. Like he just in the movie.
Exactly.
He's out.
She was a MacGuffin. She was a plot device. That's all. Yeah.
She was awesome. She was awesome in Awakens.
Put her goggles back down.
I liked her in Awakens.
Well, but she was a plot device in Awaken to get Rey to the saber. Like that entire scene
and then
was to get Rey to the saber.
The Last Jedi, they sent her to Canto Bight.
The one thing I was thinking about was if you look at 4, 5, and 6 and like the transformation that Luke went through from farm boy to, tan suit Commander Luke to black Return of the Jedi, badass mofo. Like, and he looked like he aged. Like Rey just had the same shit on the whole time.
Dude. Yeah, well, okay, maybe from an outfit perspective. But from a powers progression,
it was an obscenely different. But what I'm saying is, like, she didn't. I don't know. Almost like you wanted her to progress or like adult a little bit.
Yeah, there needed
she
to
never
be
did.
visual clues to her progression.
I'm sorry, she needed an outfit.
They
change?
did that.
Yes. Yes. You know what I mean?
But
or
they did. I mean, yeah. If you're talking just like what she's wearing, I don't. Either way, it doesn't bother me.
Right.
I mean,
but you follow what I'm saying.
I the same outfit through all 3 movies.
I'm just glad that they did their best, like everything else, tried to fit as much as they could in there, and I'm not going to fault them for that. What else could JJ do? But they finally gave us her be vulnerable. I was tired of the OP Mary Sue. I know you hate that term, but Mary Sue.
I just don't.
Well, because they showed that she got trained by Leia. Because the first 2 movies, you don't know what she's trained by. Yeah, she's Palpatine, she's got blood, but no one trained her. That's one of my biggest problems with all the trilogy. But then they showed it and said, okay, she might have had powers before, but she finally got some good training. And then Kylo had that advantage on her all throughout the movie. I'm like, finally, because one of my predictions was she was going to handily beat Hux, Kylo, the Emperor, and move on. And I didn't want that, and they didn't do that. She needed the help.
So, but then that goes back and answers one of the complaints about The Force Awakens. Like I said, that's what I said. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like this movie so much is that it does dovetail back and answer a lot of shit.
Yeah.
It answers the why she can stand up to him in The Force Awakens, or to Kylo in The Force Awakens. Because she's got that raw power that just needs a trainer, needs a mentor, needs whatever. But that, I mean, again, getting back to the whole bloodline thing, I mean, if your granddad's Palpatine, that's some shit.
Well, I got something that I'd like to. How about we address the fact that basically this movie was an adaptation of Dark Empire.
True. Yeah.
They pulled in the best bits. They've been doing a good job going through, taking
with
the best
whole
bits.
cloning,
and the death
see that.
machines. The Emperor's Secret Fleet.
You're talking about, if it was the book, I didn't read it. Go expand a little bit.
It was a comic book.
It's a graphic novel,
it was a 6-part miniseries.
Yep.
Back in 91, where Luke turns to the dark side, finds out the Emperor's alive, turns to the dark side, and kind of pretends to join him because his plan was to take down the Emperor. Well, he finds out that the Emperor has been building all these clones of himself, and when he died, his spirit entered into a new clone. So he joins the dark side. Leia tries to come in and save him, pull him from the dark side. And the Emperor tells Leia, well, if you kill me, then I'll just enter into another clone. And if all the clones get destroyed, maybe he'll just enter into Leia or one of her unborn children, which is exactly what Palpatine says to Rey.
I'd like to enter into Leia.
Well, it's exactly what he says to Rey. And not only that, but he also tempted Kylo the same way that he tempted Luke. You can control this entire fleet. You can control all of this stuff. And he said the exact same thing in both Dark Empire and
See, remember last week we were talking about how Anakin had a reason to join the dark side. Luke did not, right? Just join your father, or I mean, Rey had a pretty convincing, like, hey, this is your birthright. Look, this is what you will have. This is all yours.
Yeah.
For the low price of your soul. But this is, there was a compelling reason to join the dark side. That was the one thing I always, like, why would Luke, like, just join me? Like, why? I'm pretty cool with my buddies.
Deep cut. Have you seen the original script for Empire Strikes Back, the speech, the I am your father speech?
No.
Vader basically, because there's all that, why didn't Vader kill the Emperor and take over a bit? And the original speech is, I'm a mangled half man, mostly machine, and apparently the people in Star Wars hate cyborgs. You, on the other hand, are a pretty boy. So we'll go kill the Emperor together, father-son bonding, and then you'll run the Empire because no one respects me because I'm, a psychotic half-man killing machine. Yeah, he's a twisted, and it's one of those interesting things that it brings it back to Obi-Wan wasn't lying when he called him twisted and evil. The people just have a real problem with people with cyborgs. So the original pitch was, it got pared down to just, I am your father. The original pitch was, no, we'll kill him together. I can't rule. You're the only one who can take over. Just kill him. And then it's the same. And Luke was like, Luke was in an emotional state. He'd kind of been tortured a little bit, had his hand cut off,
Right.
High pressure sales pitch. I'm sure you're familiar. So the pitch is still like, yeah, you can save your friends. You'll be the Emperor. And the original pitch is you can run it with justice the way the Emperor cannot. Like, Darth Vader's original pitch in the script is, you don't have to go to the dark side. No, I promise you, it's fine. You'll take over and you'll run it just how you want.
And we have cookies.
And you'll do a really good job, and you totally will not fall to the dark side. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So that's where the original script goes. Then they pared it down to just, I'm your father. Come on. We can run the universe.
That's not true. That's impossible. No.
And there was fan debate over whether he was lying or not. That was like a big thing. They're like, he's a Sith Lord. Of course he's lying.
Well, yeah. Well, when I was a kid and I saw Empire Strikes Back in 1980, I don't know, I was like maybe 6 years old. I thought he was lying. When I showed the movie to my niece and nephew a couple of years ago, the first that my niece jumped up, the first thing she said, he's lying.
Wow.
See, and to me, like, that's why, like, with my kids, I had them watch things in release order.
Yeah.
I mean, because you've got that open.
That's one of the best memes. Like, in the future, someone's going to reintroduce Star Wars to someone. They go, no. You have to watch 4, 5, 6, then 1, 2, 3. Then you have to watch Solo. Then you have to watch Clone Wars. Then you have to watch
Rogue One.
Rogue One. And then you have to watch Rebels. Then you have to watch Clone Wars. Then
I always tell people if it's their first watch through, then do it in release order. And if they want to, if they like it, go back and watch it in chronological order.
Nah,
I'm a big fan of the machete cut.
I was saying, I like machete order. I mean, it's a good.
You're cutting one out doing machete
because there's nothing of value in one.
Dude, you're insane if you don't think the mall scenes.
And other than Solo, where does that matter?
I think he shows up in Rebels.
That they're freaking cool.
No.
Like,
but other than Solo, where does
that was
my
not my. I don't have any beefs with 9, but what they didn't have was that red force shield fight scene, awesome music that like that shit that makes your hair stand up on your neck.
Oh, like Duel of Fates.
Like dude, like that stuff. Just like you were, oh my effing god.
Yeah.
And 9 didn't have that, and 1 did, even though 1 was a debatable. People say it was a turd because of stupid Jar Jar, but
No, but it had its moments, yeah.
But like that scene, like where that holy shit.
Right.
It didn't happen in 9.
Actually, this whole trilogy really didn't have an epic
Jedi did battle. with the red guards. Like that was badass with
that
Kylo.
Was cool. Yeah.
Dude,
but nothing like with the element gripping to the plot. Like Empire, A New Hope, they had the initial lightsaber battle, something we've never seen before. Empire
which
Strikes
was thoroughly mirrored in this movie. When Rey faces off against Kylo after he lands the ship, and all the stormtroopers come out and are ringing around.
I got you.
It was almost a shot-for-shot remake.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Empire Strikes Back, the lightsaber battle resulted in the I am your father reveal. Return of the Jedi, the lightsaber battle ended in the result of Darth Vader coming back to the light.
Sister.
Phantom Menace. That was just a badass lightsaber battle
awesome.
in general. And Attack of the Clones. Okay, maybe not so much. Just maybe the Yoda thing. And
the Yoda thing with the when he that was
turns into Sonic the Hedgehog.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember
he
when
was the little blob from the Clumps. No, not the Clumps. What was the one? Eddie Murphy, Doctor
Doolittle?
Yes. No, not Dr. Doolittle.
No, Flubber?
Yes, Flubber.
Oh.
That's what he did. Yeah, when Yoda turns into Flubber and just starts
Dude, when Yoda did like the come on, and but like the crowd went, and that was all right. I got to talk about this because me and Tulio frickin' were hating life. Every time something got revealed and the whole crowd would clap, and we're just like, God, stop! No.
And we're talking about this for the show. So like Thursday night, every time there was a moment on screen, people clapped. Yesterday, when I saw it with the kids, dead silence. There was none of that. At all.
I would have paid double to not have that.
Just let people enjoy the movie.
No, don't clap in a movie.
I clapped for the porgs.
Oh.
I got a little. The porgs were cool.
Well, the only thing, there's two things that I'm surprised about that happened in this movie or didn't happen in this movie. One thing is that I'm surprised they didn't tell us how Maz got a hold of the lightsaber. Because in episode 7, she said that's a story for another time. So that told me that we were eventually going to hear the story.
Wait for Disney Plus.
Well, yeah,
Right.
It's probably going to happen in a video game or a comic book or
Maz Kanata
TV show.
Chronicles,
Or
yeah.
something like that. And I am surprised that they went the route of Rey being the daughter or granddaughter or, in the bloodline of someone. I felt that they were going to have her have have some sort of connection with someone, possibly in the Skywalker line.
Well, yeah, we talked about, might have been, the whole Luke's hand, might have
right.
been a cloning thing, might have been yeah.
I didn't think that they would go the route of her being Palpatine.
They couldn't have someone finger banging Luke's hand like and make a kiss.
Well, I mean,
that's just they can't do that. It's Disney.
The fact that they made her,
but they can have brothers and sisters kiss in the original trilogy.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fact that they made her Palpatine's granddaughter, to me, it made this trilogy more about Palpatine than about this Skywalker.
He was in all the pretty much every movie.
Yeah, he's been pulling the strings from the get-go.
Right.
But
I am the Senate.
But the saga is supposed to be about the Skywalker family. And of course, you got Kylo Ren, who's a Skywalker, by blood. But and I am surprised that they didn't have an Anakin Force Ghost, considering this saga is about him.
They would have burned the theaters down if they would have had Anakin.
Apparently, it was filmed.
Yeah.
And last minute decision. If you believe the rumors, there's been a lot of changes the last 2 months. They did.
Oh yeah. Apparently, he just finished cutting the movie 2 weeks ahead of release.
Yeah.
This movie, like I said, it felt like the franchisement that we get in video games, where stuff comes out on schedule, whether it's done or not.
Yeah.
Like I felt like this could have used. The bones are solid. There's just some extraneous bits that it needed one or two more cuts, much like the original Star Wars. If you've seen the original,
seasonal pass.
They had, they did. They had, I can't think of the stupid name of it when they had 20 people in a room and you watch a commercial and go,
focus group.
Focus groups. Thank you. So they probably had 10 focus groups of nothing but fanboys, and the Anakin Force Ghost came out and everybody threw tomatoes at the screen and he freaking cut it. I'll bet money that happened.
Well, but honestly, I'll be okay. One of the things I haven't done until the last time I sat down and watched it was I never watched any of the cutscenes from the movies, and so it was interesting seeing. Because some of the cutscenes from the last movie are what showed up as Leia footage in this movie.
Well, that was the thing. How much of it was CGI? What they
None
did
of it was CGI.
What they did with Leia was pretty goddamn brilliant,
except for the flashback.
Right, that was awesome.
Shut up, Brandy.
None of the actual footage of it. None of what you would expect her to be. They did, the 40 years younger version of her was not. Live action. Thanks for
what they did with her though was nothing short of brilliant. I'm not going to lie. There was not one part where I'm there was bullshit or cheap, stupid or why.
Yeah. It was and so and reading some of the stories and articles and that kind of stuff about it. They basically went back and rewrote huge chunks of the script in order to fit around the footage that they had.
Mm-hmm. Good,
which makes sense.
Well, and that's the thing
I think that brought it closure.
And that's the thing with this movie too. There wasn't that mall red laser wall awesome neck stand up scene, but there also wasn't a no, do it.
Yeah.
It wasn't that like, oh, God bless it, or eye roll. There wasn't, at least there isn't yet, and I've only seen it once, but there wasn't that eye roll scene.
No, and I've, like I said, I've seen it twice now, and both times I've just been floored. Like, I mean, like it's a damn visually stunning movie.
But even if you look at 7, like, dude, when those X-Wings were skating above the water, that music, dude, you're like,
March of the Resistance
Yes.
is the best theme from the new trilogy.
like you get that like the Rockies are gonna get them in the 12th round feels.
See, I think you do get that when all
those ships came,
when all the ships pop out of hyperspace.
that was
I
hot.
think you get that,
But I don't think the music fit with it. Like it was
they
just
could have punched that up.
Yeah.
And it's short. It's super short. So if you think about like Return of the Jedi, the space battle there, which until that point was the longest space battle we'd ever gotten. This is the ships show up, they start blowing stuff, they immediately cut away.
But think about the turd they could have laid if they would have done cut scenes into like 30 of those ships and be like, remember this character? Remember this? And they didn't do it. And
They kind of did though. There's a blink and you miss it. Guess who's shooting the can? Wedge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a whole bunch of member. I could have just don't go into the ships. Just give me an extra minute of them coming in and descending down with the music swelling.
Oh yeah,
I didn't get to see that.
What?
I was looking forward to the General Reich and cameo.
Oh,
it would have been nice to see like a chrome Naboo cruiser. In that scene of ships. Like we never seen Naboo again after.
Well, and it's
the original trilogy.
I thought that's the planet they blew
there.
up. I thought that was the planet they destroyed.
Oh, Kijimi.
Yeah, because it's like I'm going to shoot the one that will.
I was a little so there's the one thing that I think is a little weird talking about Poe Dameron. And like the comics and everything make him have such a very reserved, austere, like military background.
Okay.
And then this movie, you're a spice runner. Okay.
Because they're trying to turn him into Han Solo.
Well, so which version am I supposed to believe? The movies?
Yeah, the ancillary media was piping a whole lot of stay tuned for the, Ben Skywalker show.
You know what though? Big plot hole. I mean, what kind of spice? Is it paprika or?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
they mean drugs, Bob.
I mean, Han Solo was
like the one that's in your, like the one that's clearly affecting you right now.
He was a spice runner with a military background.
Yeah, Solo was exactly.
Yeah, they were trying to solo him up.
He was. Yeah, but I mean that was Imperial. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well, but like I said, I mean that was never changed.
Didn't
like
episodes,
he was who he was, and there was no conflict there. Like I mean the timeline isn't that far apart. Like where he was in the military. And then, suddenly he was a smuggler, and then he abandoned those smugglers, but he had been there long enough to gain their trust and be part of the crew, and then he left and went and joined the rebellion or resistance or whatever they are now.
Oh,
I mean, it just seemed like it.
I was going to say, didn't Episode 7 imply that Poe had been with the Resistance a while?
Yeah, so that's what I mean.
Suddenly he was
it just didn't.
Yeah.
It was just weird to me, and but that was the one. I wish they would have had a little more Kerry Russell. Which was funny because as soon as that character hit the screen, when she started talking, I thought it was the actress that played Nebula in, flashing back to Avengers.
I totally did too, yeah.
Because the voice
Karen
sounded
Gillan.
identical.
Oh yeah, Karen Gillan. I thought it was Karen Gillan too, and I'm like, she's in everything.
Yeah,
now.
I was like, holy shit! She's in everything. I would love to see. I would have loved to have seen a little more of that. Just because I think that was part of that whole, they were getting closer to the whole "I love you, I know" thing. Like my kids didn't get the look at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
But that was a story I would have liked to have seen a little fleshed out more.
I felt that was kind of like, I don't want to say pointless, but like there could have been more to it.
So what was they said in The Mandalorian that released the day before the movie?
Yeah, what was
there was
connection?
there was some drop or some connection.
The healing.
The
healing is
that was it.
That was it. That's the only thing I could think of.
Well, we already knew that from playing the video game.
Exactly.
Well, why couldn't Kenobi do it to Qui-Gon then?
Not everyone knows it.
Why
Did you hear
didn't
what Palpatine said? He said like this hasn't been seen in ages. That kind of
But a baby knows how to do it?
Well, does Palpatine know about Baby Yoda? We'll find out, I suppose.
Well, and that was part of the, like, again, it's not canon anymore, but the whole EU, like, that was part of what, like, Leia's whole thing was she was a healer in the Force, and that was that's why it was such a huge deal that she was Force sensitive in that way.
So answer me this: when she dies, they put a shroud over her.
Yes,
and then she doesn't like Jedi die.
No,
until after Kylo does.
Correct.
Was she I'm like, that was weird. Was she in death?
You can hold.
Her spirit was with him.
No, I think she was. I think that was because that whole last scene where where Maz Kanata says she knows what she has to do, and it's going to take all of her remaining strength. And so, there was that whole thing, and I think she was holding on, basically giving her energy, trying to pull Ben back from Kylo.
That's what I assumed. I just thought it was just kind of odd.
Although, let's talk about the best moment in the entire ending of the movie. Chewbacca gets his medal.
I know. I pointed that out.
Oh, no. Are you sure it wasn't Han's medal?
Of course, after 42 years, Chewbacca gets a medal. I don't care whose it was.
But if it ain't yours,
he gets one.
It is Han.
Look, it's the collar from his rescue human.
Hey, if you die and I get your 9th grade chess trophy, I don't give a shit.
So does that mean they were on Yavin at the end? Were they on Yavin?
No, they were back on.
Actually,
they didn't really talk about what movie they were on. Well, but Leia
what
had
movie
it in her
they
hand.
were on?
Planet.
Like when Leia, when like the whole like she's laying down, she has that in her hand.
Oh, okay. Because in the trailer,
in
the trailer, it showed Leia holding the. It showed Leia's hands. I would assume.
Yeah, so
holding the medal.
So she was holding it,
and they didn't
when she laid back down.
Right. Well, it showed her holding it out like this,
Gotcha.
face up. But and in the movie, we didn't see that one shot.
But she was carrying it in one hand. Right before she whatever they put on screen had somebody holding it in their right hand as they wandered off, and then it was like this.
So why was she holding it for 35 years?
It's her dead husband's medal.
Or was it her? Is it Han's medal or was it Chewbacca's medal?
I think
Chewbacca never got one.
Right,
it's Han's.
Right,
it's Han's
but
it would have to be.
Okay. Well, I mean, I was assuming maybe it was Chewbacca's medal that he never received.
And Chewbacca pulled a Luke and just whipped it over his right shoulder and didn't give a shit.
Because Wookiees, I guess they can't receive medals because of their religion or whatever. That's why he didn't get one. So maybe they had one.
Was it Jehovah's Wookiee?
Yeah. Right.
Or Orthodox Life Day.
One, and he just never put it around.
Can't celebrate birthdays, can't do Halloween, can't get medals.
So that was the one. So the other, maybe not necessarily plot hole, but the skeptical Dave, a skeptical moment. Luke's X-wing sitting in water.
Yeah.
For God knows how long.
All of a sudden it works.
And just fires right up.
Not only that, his wing was gone for the door.
The wing was the door to his hut on Octo.
It was a piece of the wing, and it probably wasn't salt water.
Still, just saying.
What about the little fishies that eat all the wires and shit?
There's no Minox.
There's none in that.
That was a little weird. Like, coming up all covered in seaweed and all that. And that was one of those moments where I was surprised they didn't throw Yoda in there.
No, I'm glad that they did. I'm glad that they had Luke do it.
No, I'm glad. Too. Me too.
Yeah,
but
because it was showing, like, it was Luke's, showing that he finally was able to do it. He was finally able to lift his ship out of the swamp.
But they used the same. They reused the music. That was fine. I was
Same
fine
music.
with
That
it.
would be something you'd love.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a good scene. I didn't that part. I didn't.
It was fan service. The whole movie was fan service, really. But yeah, I mean,
not as bad as 7, but yeah,
right.
Okay, my personal bugaboo, and the Jedi did the same thing. Never give hours. Never give absolute time in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Never say we've got X amount of time unless it's minutes.
Right.
Because
they did it in 4.
When?
Yeah.
No, that's the eminent minutes. I'm fine with.
That was the Death Stars within range.
Yeah,
of number of minutes. That's his point.
I mean, immediate threat. We've got 5 minutes or the ship explodes. I'm cool with. We have 36 hours or we have 18 hours before this thing. It's like, wait a minute. I thought it took days to get anywhere, but now it's no. Just say soon. Soon. Medium.
J.J. Abrams doesn't know how space travel works.
I mean,
Star Trek
Flash
had the
Gordon
same
had
issue.
12 hours to save the Earth. I mean, if he could do it, and he was just a mortal human.
Ming had much better public transportation.
Flash Gordon.
Oh.
The Empire made the trains run on.
You have 12 hours to save the Earth, Flash.
Bruce Willis had what, 3 days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing too. You didn't get Brian Blessed on riding on a seahorse.
Riding on a rocket cycle.
No, the Gungan leader of the Gungan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have done with some Brian Blessed.
Yeah. No, I mean, all in all, there's not, like I said, there was nothing in this movie that made me want to throw popcorn at the screen. There was nothing in this movie.
No, I think he killed it.
No. Yeah,
Killed it good, not sorry. Yeah.
Right. The 10-year-old in me loved the movie. The adult in me was like, okay, this is a copy of Return of the Jedi and Dark Empire.
Yep.
But that's what J.J. Abrams does. You don't hire J.J. Abrams for originality. You hire him because I want this mixed with this. Go.
Yeah.
You put it in a blender.
I mean,
isn't that every movie?
The Force dyad thing was interesting.
Yeah, I could have done more with that though, and I feel like like I said, the bones of this movie, but it could use one more two rewrites without the input from the focus groups, and just cut some of the extra stuff, and then focused more on say Rey's journey instead of trying to cram Poe's journey and whatever, and just be like, they're going to go blow shit up.
Well, but then you would have had everybody go, they abandoned Poe as a character.
I mean, they kind of did.
And that's...
There's nothing they would have done that wouldn't have made people bitch.
Exactly.
Now there isn't a goddamn thing.
Although I'm not going to lie, my favorite thing over the past few days has been anytime I see anybody bitching about two women kissing at the end of that movie, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Do you need to have more like the original trilogy where it's just incestuous? Do you need more brothers and sisters kissing? Does that make you happy?
It was anyone but Bird Lady.
Right, but you know what? Though I felt that
Surfing Bird.
I mean, obviously forced.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
I mean,
forced, and if a 6-year-old's watching that, and
yeah, right.
But here's the thing,
I'd see if Annie sees it. I don't give a shit.
It's,
yeah,
like in there, dude. My daughter's watching Smallville. Or not Smallville. What the hell's the Archie and Jughead one?
Oh,
Riverdale.
Dude,
Dude, apparently there's all kind. Yeah, like it doesn't matter to them.
Well, it's on the CW. I mean, CW is just...
it doesn't matter to them. So it's not shocking. It's not a thing.
It was forced, but it wasn't awful. It was fine. It was whatever. It should have been someone hot though, not Bird Lady. That's all I'm saying.
It should have been Poe and it should have been Finn. You cowards.
So that, I'm not gonna lie. There were a couple of moments along the movie where, are they building up to a Poe Finn thing?
Yeah, just straight up do it. Pull that trigger.
Disney After Dark.
I'm just saying.
Give somebody a happy ending out of this movie. Damn it.
Speaking of happy endings, let's take a quick break, recharge a little bit.
All right,
come back, and we got a lot more to talk about. This is the post Star Wars episode IT in the D show. We will be right back.
See you in a few.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Lives of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. It's the IT in the D show.
ITinthed.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us. This is the one and only IT in the D show, episode 328, the Festivus show, the Christmas Eve show, the day before Christmas Eve show, the post Star Wars we saw it show.
Hey, are we probably not doing a show next week, or are
we're not? We're totally not doing it. No, we'll take New Year's off.
Okay,
and then start off fresh.
Cool,
fresh for 2020.
Fresh. I don't know how we're going to do next year because I don't have 2020 vision.
Can we book Barbara Walters, please?
We're hanging out here in Studio One in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy, Dave the Geek, Randy. I'm doing the Twitters is eating Fritos. Find us online, itinthed.com, because we are IT in the D.
And you still are not. We still haven't forgotten. We love you.
So we are, as always, we take a break and then all of a sudden we get in these amazing conversations. We're like, shush.
Yep.
But Jamie, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, all I wanted to bring up was talking about how, since I'm the designated did not like The Last Jedi movie, which fair enough, I agree.
No. Let's reemphasize. You effing
hate movie.
Let's not undersell this.
Yeah, that's I was trying to. But you've shown me a little light, and I appreciate that. I'm not completely stubborn in my ways. But anyway, I want to talk about how this movie, in some ways, gave the middle finger to The Last Jedi, and from my own personal appreciation, I like that. Number one being the most obvious, when Rey was despondent and she threw the lightsaber in the fire and Luke caught it. And despite the complaints about how can now Force Ghosts catch things, I don't care about that. And he said, and he came
the
out
same
with
way they can lift an X-wing.
right, exactly. Yeah, no, yeah. But he says a Jedi needs to respect their lightsaber.
A Jedi's lightsaber deserves respect. Yes.
That was a complete shot at The Last Jedi, and I'm sorry, guilty pleasure. I loved that.
Oh yeah.
Another thing I heard, this is more of a fan theory, is part of the reason why they erased C-3PO's memory was, for the plot to move along, but it was also a little shot to Rian Johnson, because the one thing Lucas has said all along, and this might be a stretch, I see your face, is that the droids have always been part of it, right? They're seeing the movies, these trilogies through their eyes. So they erased his memory so he would forget The Last Jedi. Yes, that's a stretch, but I kind of like
I've heard that. I've heard that too,
yeah.
but I don't know what did.
There's two issues with that.
Hold on. What did C-3PO say that put him in pre-Last Jedi?
Nothing.
No, because I thought
nothing.
Because I heard that too from multiple people.
Absolutely nothing. Because that's number two. Number one, both droids had their memory wiped in episode
3.
Yes, at
But
the
did
end of
R2?
3.
No,
No, it's just C-3PO.
Or at least 3PO.
R2 did not.
Memory wiped. Number two, when his memory was restored, it was right before he was leaving on the mission with Rey.
Okay.
So
fair enough.
yeah.
Okay.
So still in the same movie.
I think what's worse is Ben Kenobi not remembering he owned a droid 17 years ago.
Okay, we got to do that.
Yeah, we do.
Thank you, Dave. So, more? Oh, okay.
Oh, I can't. There was maybe one more, but let's carry on.
This is part of the conversation we were having before the show, is that you look at like a lot of the, it's like I was saying at the opening, a lot of the complaints about The Last Jedi mirror a lot of the complaints about Empire back in the day, where, you had, whether it was the gender politics and, then you've got Leia. You had people bitching about Leia being the head of the rebellion, and you had people bitching about Leia organizing her own escape from the Death Star in 4, and Mon Mothma being the leader of the rebellion back then. And
right.
so you've got
Mothra.
Not no Gajira. But there were a lot of parallels between those movies, and it is what it is. I mean, so that's why I said, you've got, the Force Awakens was basically a carbon copy of 4. You had, The Last Jedi, which was a blend between 5 and 6. And so that was my question. It was like, okay, what is this going to be?
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate it. And that's what I kind of alluded to about Show Me the Light. Because, when these movies came out, New Hope, I was 1. Empire Strikes Back, I was 4.
You'd have been 4, yeah.
So, to your guys' points to me is as a kid, you don't care about the lesbians kissing or this and that. You're just like, movie, Star Wars, ships. I like these people, So I'm starting to learn that now.
Right. When I was a kid, when the original trilogy was released, the only thing I cared about when Return of the Jedi was, when I went to go see Return of the Jedi, the only thing I cared about is I wanted to see more action.
And I wanted all 4 cups from Burger King.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to know if Darth Vader really was Luke's father. And I wanted to see Han Solo come back. That's all I was interested in. I didn't care about, Mon Mothma being the leader of the Rebel Alliance. That wasn't even a thought.
I don't even know who the hell that is.
Well, she's the leader.
Many
of
Bothans died.
Yeah, I know who it is. I'm just I don't give a shit.
Shut up.
I didn't care, it didn't bother me that Leia was a strong
because
character.
we were at that age.
Right.
And you don't think about that shit.
Exactly. That's why you got to look at these movies, these new movies, all the Star Wars movies, really through the eyes of a 10-year-old.
Going back to almost my first statement in this podcast was, I didn't think there was anything wrong with it until I watched those goddamn YouTube videos breaking it down.
I still don't.
No, I just did it because I wanted to see what did I miss or Easter eggs and just, because
I avoid all that crap because, it's just one person's opinion.
Oh, it's not going to make me not like the movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like the Goonies, I didn't even put the Goonies thing together, the 40-year 40-year wreckage.
I love the Star Wars fans. The Rise of Skywalker was great. I loved it. Whiny ass fanboys. No, it isn't. What about the bit where Star Wars fans? I have spoken.
Right. Well, this is one where the audience score is like double the critic score. The critics were being dickheads, and the audience is like, nope, freaking loved it.
So I think you're honestly, I think you're seeing a lot of retro backlash happening.
Yeah.
I think you're seeing. It was so highly publicized that the fan scores were so – because, dude, the movie was like at a 48% fan score before it got released.
Right.
And so I think you're seeing a lot of people like come out in droves to try to support it.
But the
and
critics
counteract
score is
that.
still, what, 68, I think?
Oh, I don't know.
It's just like something ridiculously low.
Well, critics are looking for things like, what is the arc of the characters in this movie?
Right.
And it doesn't. It's got the same kind of scores as Infinity War. It doesn't have arcs. We are not here for arcs. We are here for shit blowing up. We're here for lightsaber duels.
Right.
And we're here for Chewbacca ripping somebody's arms off. Let's go.
Critics are looking for someone naked playing a piano or something, and calling it artsy. That's what critics are looking for. They look at I feel that they look at these movies as live action cartoons.
So why did they universally love The Last Jedi then? I mean, 98% before the movie started. I will never forget that because that got me psyched.
Because they huff their own farts, Jamie.
Right,
That's
exactly.
why.
So I mean, that's why I like this movie more. Because if those critics hate this movie, that makes me like it more. Sorry, I'm a little spiteful about this.
So The Last Jedi, I think we were talking about this earlier, made a decision. They made a decision and they ran with it. And they tried to do something. And I have quibbles with how it ended. They could have had the perfect sort of like repetition and callback if they just had Finn get knocked out again, because then he could have woken up the third movie, waking up again. Callback.
But so it's currently at a 93% fan score, 78% critic score.
Okay. All right. It's all right.
I see 56% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay. I was just Googling.
But the thing about Last Jedi is that they didn't focus group it. It was somebody's vision, and they made a goddamn movie. Then, like Bob said, some of the stuff in Rise of Skywalker feels a lot more focus tested. The book's burned, and Yoda's just like, the books are not important. You idiot. I have been trying to tell you that being a Jedi is not the books and not the temple.
But the books didn't burn.
And then the first thing is in Rise of Skywalker is Rey flipping through these books.
No, that was the end. The end of that movie, she had the books.
Yeah.
In the Falcon.
Saved them.
She saved some. Yeah. But that's the thing is like The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi was the Jedi did this to themselves. The light side doesn't, the rules don't matter. Be a good person.
But I think that that was a point they tried to hammer home over and over and over again, was how stupid the Jedi were.
No, they did it to themselves because they got wiped out. And my wife was like, how did the Jedi get wiped out?
Number one, they misinterpreted the prophecy.
Yeah.
Bringing balance to the Force means there's a whole bunch of you and only two of them. Guess what? There's only going to be two of you left at the end of this. That's how that works.
That was a nice payoff, by the way.
That's balance to the Force. And they ignore. So I mean,
they never saw Palpatine. Like, at the end of 3, when Yoda's like, I missed this the whole time. Like, like, how did you not see? You can see all this other shit, but you can't see that.
No, because he was that strong.
Yeah.
That was the best payoff. That's actually the payoff I got to tell the screenwriters for Rise of Skywalker. That was the most clever thing ever. The Sith, they've had, in Legends, if you want to do Old Republic, the Sith have tried to conquer the galaxy 3 times.
Yep.
Something has gone wrong. So their new plan is, screw this noise. We're going to ascend one person, and we are just going to make them godlike in power. And they're so strong that no one can see us coming. And then we take over. And that's actually, by Star Wars plans, a pretty good villain plot.
So, but the way, and I get what you're saying, but like the way it was presented, I don't know that you can say that was a Sith plan. Because the way it's presented is that, okay, Palpatine is all of the Sith that have come before and are with him. Rey is presented as all of the Jedi that have come before are with her. So is that a plan, or is that just how the Force, like, is it Jackie Chan in the one? And
I think it's a bit of both. The Sith did it, and then the light side responded. Because Rey had a lot of power, but she didn't get everybody talking to her until Palpatine went.
Well, but the opening scene was her saying, be with me, and trying to contact them and get them with her. And that was her whole thing, was they're not talking to her.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, though. She knows they can. It's not like the previous movies, because Leia would have basically been like, yeah, dude, you can totally see Force ghosts. Why aren't they talking to you?
This is the Jedi's long play. Think about this. Just a little angle here.
Okay.
The Jedi got screwed by Sidious, right? He's the master manipulator, perfectly named Insidious.
Yeah.
Dr. Sidious. So, yeah, I mean, if you want to, they just let they didn't tell her. I mean, obviously half the people knew who Rey was except Rey. And then at the end, they come and they help her, support her. And of course, they hear every voice that Sidious had a hand in killing, indirectly or directly, through his granddaughter. I mean, come on. That's your revenge of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I like thinking that. That's fun.
I got you.
That's fun. Come on.
So, and honestly, like that was one of the things.
I mean, but if you can't beat your own grandpa's ass, I mean, there's something wrong with it. Like,
so, like, there was that. Like that would have been like I would have loved to have seen. God, 2 more minutes of movie that would have given you a little more explanation as to who all the Sith in the galleries were.
Oh, the cultists?
Dude, there's that so kind of skipped over. And great, you read the books and that kind of, like, you get, like, the Sith are actually a group and a whatever. But, like, from a again, like we talked about it last time, I don't want to be lost. I don't want to have to go to this website to read this code, to read this thing. No, I just give it to me on screen and be done with it. I would have loved to have seen 2 more minutes talking about who all those people Palpatine was getting to chant at him were.
He was monologuing. Let's have him include, let me show you the vast scope of my plan.
Right.
Like,
what did we swing and miss on last week?
3PO did not wind up dying and taking over all the droids.
No, I thought we said they weren't even going to show up. I thought, if I remember correctly last week.
No, that was I think the comic, like the 3PO's sacrifice was going to be something to do with him either going into the Falcon or taking over all the battle droids and resurrecting them. Yeah,
I love that.
Might I add? I was Dave and I were talking about this outside. That I felt that 3PO in this movie was probably the funniest that he's been in all of the Star Wars.
Agreed, 100%. Agreed.
Even from like when they're all like when he's babbling and they're all looking at him and then out of the dead and he just kind of like looks behind him too because he thinks they're all looking at something behind him.
And no backlash for being stupid.
Yeah.
You know, every time there's a yuck joke or someone bitches in Star Wars.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
No, it was, and I thought it was great. And
we did the grays. I think we swung and missed.
We had talked about the grays. Yeah, that
like there's no more light side, no more dark side.
Right.
Kind of though. If you look at it, there's no more light side. No more. There's kind of no more nothing.
Well,
so if the Sith are gone,
Rey's still there, and she's got her own saber,
but it's yellow.
I found it interesting. Yeah, and I found it interesting.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew.
Yeah. Yeah. How did that not? Oh my God! How was that not a thing? Mountain Dew, the Mountain Dew Force. Yeah. I was a little like I get the symbolism and everything, but like why she went back to Tatooine didn't make a ton of sense.
Yeah, a lot of people have a problem with it. I don't
I
got no problem.
No,
with it.
I have no problem with it. Like I said, I get the closure. I get
she
the symbolism.
She should have went to Jakku.
But for her, the connection wasn't there.
Right. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I think it's this is the fun part. You think about your own theories.
Homage. I get
the homage for us, but as far as the story goes, she clearly saw Luke and Leia as her parental figures.
Okay, but Leia had no connection to Tatooine.
True. True. Okay, so that kind of throws in the wrench.
Alderaa's gone, so she couldn't have gone.
And you're burying Anakin's lightsaber on the planet he hated the most.
Yeah, that's true. But it ended up being
in the thing he hated the most.
In the thing he hated the most.
That's true.
And if he was Darth Vader and like at his peak, don't you think he'd just like eradicate the Sand People? Like just F you and just out of spite. Out of spite.
Like, but he wasn't Anakin anymore. He was Darth Vader, man.
Right.
You don't think he remembers?
Not so much.
Shiza.
Actually, you might enjoy them. There's a comic book series of Darth Vader after he gets the new body or whatever. The Emperor's like, you're an apprentice again. No lightsaber for you. Go out and like do my bidding until I feel like you've earned my attention again. And it literally has one of those moments where like hundreds of people surround him and you're like, what's he gonna do? And he uses some clever telekinesis and bad things happened. It's basically bad things happening to people who try and hurt Darth Vader for like 12 episodes.
About. Like the Vader we got at the end of Rogue One
was
the Vader we'd been waiting our entire lives for.
And that's the comic book series. Shows you where that comes from. It's like, why didn't he pull the disc? Oh, because people were shooting him. And he does have to pay attention to deflect lightsaber.
Right.
But to your point though, dude, I loved 3PO all through this film. I thought like they did that character right. Like when it comes to like it is, the solid character through all the movies. They did that character.
The hairdryer on the cheese wheel was kind of stupid.
I agree.
No, thank you.
Yeah.
All of that was fun. Yeah, and that's for the kids, right? That'll be a part of our
cute.
UX.
Right.
So you know what? I take back that.
It was. Again, kids loved it.
It's not worth $100 at Target, but
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
As soon as they said his name, Dio, I just wanted to just pull
Ronnie
James, yeah.
Holy diver.
I was watching. I was up one night because I couldn't sleep, and Kimmel had the whole cast on and J.J. Abrams, and he goes, "Is that an homage to Ronnie James?" And J.J.'s looking at him like, like what do you? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my God!
When did Chief Palpatine have children?
They don't get into that.
Yeah, they don't.
But then
get into it.
again,
But that's not really.
we meet Palpatine when he's fairly old. Well, he's older in Episode 1.
When did Jack poop on 24? I mean, sometimes just shit happens.
Things happen between scenes
during the commercial.
I have no problem with that. This is pulp. Stuff happens because it needs to happen.
Right.
Like, as long as it's an entertaining choice, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Luke can Force Ghost. Luke's Force Ghost can lift things now. Great, sweet. Let's go with it. Run with it. Don't care.
What do you want to do? I want to do it. Sorry.
You hate that.
Lasers cause noise in space.
You know,
You know what's funny? My daughter's 15. She basically has watched them all again, like the last few weeks. She just went through all of them. And like the funny thing is, like, her and her friend will run downstairs and they'll do it, and they'll start laughing, and like that's become like a meme. It's like their favorite scene, like cutting off
it is a meme,
cutting off Willy Wonka's dad's head, and do it. But then like the funny thing is, they had him on the red carpet. What's his name?
Ian McDiarmid.
Yeah, and they're like, what's the one liner? But he makes you keep repeating. He's like, do it. I'm freaking crying. I'm like,
it's the I am not going to say inconceivable guy.
Right.
Yeah. There's one. I was telling Dave outside. There's one theory that I had that came true, and I told him I wanted to mention it here on when we went back.
Did you talk about it last week?
No,
didn't happen.
It does count.
I didn't talk about it last week. We talked about it before the broadcast, before Solo premiered, and so there is record of it. And that's when I said that I felt that Han Solo or Harrison Ford was not yet done playing Han Solo, and sure enough, I didn't think it was going to happen in this movie.
There's mixed reaction to that.
That surprised
scene.
me. That really did.
Me too. I didn't think it was. I thought it was going to happen in a Boba Fett movie or a Solo sequel or something. I didn't think it was going to happen in this.
Well,
movie.
then did Leia project him? He wasn't a Force ghost. Was he a memory? Because like he was interacting with him. So like,
Force vision.
It doesn't make sense.
I'd rather not know.
I thought he said something like "I live
You're
inside
a memory.
you" or something.
He
Like
said
I'm a
It's
I'm
your
a
memory, but your Ben's memory. That was
right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
but
right,
if it was Leia projecting that, fine. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Make a decision, go with it. I'm starting to buy into this.
And that was when Leia was doing her thing.
And I'm sorry, I that's probably one of my most favorite parts of the whole movie.
Yeah, me too.
I love that. The fact, I mean, in so many levels, not just what it did for Ben's
the fact
character.
that it paralleled.
Yeah.
The entire. I don't think I have the strength to do it.
To the fact that Harrison Ford, who's wanted this guy to die since '80,
who only signed on for Episode 7 if they killed him,
came back.
Right.
I mean, so that just, I mean, the real world part of it. I mean, oh my god.
And that scene, when they were reflecting the scene in Episode 7, that scene where his ghost or whatever comes back. One thing that I love about that scene is the fact that Kylo Ren called him Dad rather than Father. Rather than the informal father, he called him Dad.
I love you too, son.
Yeah.
Just that one word. That told me, okay, this is
going to end differently.
Yeah. Right. He's back. He's a good guy now.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, it would have been good with the Ray with like, what's a blue milk, Ben? It's like, or they would have done if they would have done like the end game and had like 70-year-old Ray and Ben in the little hut and Tatooine.
I'd be okay with that too.
I'd be okay with that.
Luke, that's like
maybe Ray went to Farm Moisture at the end.
Well, speaking of Endgame, we caught the ripoff of that, right?
I keep hearing about it, but I don't know which.
So Lando. So if you recall in Endgame, Captain America got his butt kicked by Thanos.
Okay,
and he's just like, and he pulls this thing, and on your left, He's like, what? He hears Sam. He's like, on your left. And he looks, and then everyone comes. Lando, they're all like, Poe's like, oh my God, the desperate moment. And Lando goes, but you're not alone.
Right. Yeah, but there's more of us. Yeah,
Number one.
Right.
Number two, I am the Senate. Just kidding. But he's like, I am all the Sith. And she goes, and I even said it like whispered to myself, Iron Man. Because she goes, I am, and she's like, I am the Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care. And there's going to be a lot of fanboys who complain about that and say, oh, it's a ripoff. I loved it. I'm like, yes.
See, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I didn't even notice
It's basic call and response, though. I mean, that's like being upset about Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
Or Chekhov's Star Destroyer in this case. Like, that's filmmaking 101 or storytelling 101.
And it works, though. And it's a tipping point. It's the crescendo. It's screw you.
Yeah.
And I love that. I'm like, good, do that.
That was one of the YouTube videos I was stupid watching where they're like, why didn't they just take all the ships and then do like light speed through all the big cruisers and then kill them all?
Well, because that would have killed all the
everyone.
people on the ships.
But
plus, it doesn't always work. It's a one in a million thing.
Like they said that. They actually addressed that. They're like, we're going to just Hondo all this, or Hondo all this. No, you're a dumbass. Please don't do that.
Yeah, please don't do that. Yeah.
Another middle finger to The Last Jedi.
No, that's fine because The Last Jedi had to answer that question. Why don't they do this all the time? Because it normally doesn't work. It's kind of like the stupid lateral pass when time's expired in a football game.
Well,
why are we doing it? Sometimes it works. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between when it's the Hail Mary. I don't think it's the Hail Mary maneuver.
Yeah.
When all is lost and that's the only option you have left. Give it a shot.
Well, when it's Aaron Rodgers versus the Lions, it's usually like 60-40 that it works. So I'm just saying,
or 80-20, 98.
Right?
Too. Yeah.
I gotta go with Dave on this one.
But no, I mean, like I said, at the end of the day, there's nothing. This movie is exactly what it had to be. It's exactly what it needed to be. I'm content.
Okay, it's going to be really, really, really hard to not have a Rey, Finn, Poe movie.
I told you they're a polycule now in my head. Like,
there's going to be really hard not to have a Rey movie in the future.
Well, yeah, I mean, okay, they said that Rey, Poe, and Finn, the actors playing them, aren't going to be playing those roles again. Yeah. Well, whatever. I mean, Harrison Ford said he'd never play Han Solo again.
True.
Yeah.
Well, Sean Connery said he'd never play James Bond again. I mean, never say never, right?
You can recast them too. It's not.
Oh yeah, but I don't think.
Could you?
No.
Depending on how old they are.
Well, so that's one of the things that people are like. In today's day and age of the reboot, is Disney gonna go back and try to reboot / remake?
No.
The originals.
That's heresy.
No,
that's at least 20 years off.
No, because you can go so many different ways. Like Knights of the Old Republic, like that's the one thing. Like, what's next?
So that's one of the things Dave and I were talking about outside. That was like, so the one thing that I thought was weird, and I noticed it more the second time I watched it, was so the Knights of Ren scenes. There were always 5 of them with Kylo when he was around. But,
they sucked, by the way.
But the climactic scene, well, number one, they don't really get into their backstory at all. And
I wanted them to do something cool. They sucked.
Again, that fight scene could have been 3 minutes longer, and it could have been that could have been
Make them epic, right?
Your epic swelling movie, and be like, these guys have been feared. Let's have Ben Solo, still kick their ass, but work for it.
Yeah.
Oh, he's armed now. Okay, now you dead. All right, next scene.
Well, but so that was the thing. You look at all of the scenes leading up to that. There are 5 of them with him. In that climactic scene, there is a 6th.
Yep.
So is it that the Knights of Ren are always supposed to be 6 and Kylo is one of them? And when he is no longer one of them, suddenly there's a 6th that shows up? Or is
like Menudo?
Or yes. Yes. Como DJ Cannonball. Yes. Or is it that there was always because like I said, when you see them on screen any other time, because I was watching for it the second time, there's only 5 of them. But like that last scene, there's 6.
The pirates in Solo were more intimidating and those were like little kids than the Knights of Ren. I'm just,
I mean, their weapons look pretty badass.
They didn't use them. They didn't do nothing with them.
What weapons? They had like axes, not like laser swords.
Yeah.
They got done dirty. They were wasted.
And that I would almost kind of, I mean,
didn't we all say that they're going to be in them, or they're going to reference them, or at least be in the movie?
Well, they had to be, just because, I mean, just from, the backstory of they were basically Luke's students that, Kylo took away with him when he left and destroyed.
Maybe that's where Broom Boy is.
No, because Broom Boy was on a planet.
Canto Bite.
Yeah.
Maybe he rode one of those things.
How about your Broom Boy shows up in Ryan Johnson's trilogy?
What's getting a trilogy?
Well, that's what I
thought that was. I thought that was on the shelf.
Favreau's going to get one. The way he's going right now, Favreau's
let's
going to get the keys.
Feige in here,
right?
Fire Kathleen Kennedy, and let's just start.
So that was
what is going to be the next trilogy, though?
I think they're going to go back. It won't be after this. It's going to be long. I think they're going to go Old Republic.
You're telling me that they're going to go 0 member berries. 0 any reference to anything.
Dude, it's not.
Supposedly, it's supposed to be something that's totally not connected to the Skywalker saga.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it.
Well, and
I'm totally okay with
I
that.
don't know that it would be 0 connection. Like, I'm sure they'll have, drop references to things that happen in the future. I mean, it's at some point in time, you're going to get, it would almost have to involve Darth Plagueis at some point. It's
the wise.
You're going to have to. I mean, so there'll be drops forward to it for the nerds like us that know, but it'll be then.
Do you know the tale of Darth Plagueis?
It won't be. It won't. Like I said, it won't be the after. It's going to be the before. I just think it will.
I'd look at Mandalorian, and Mandalorian is, hey, this is a Western inspired. Let's just do a friggin' Western. If they're going to follow the Marvel plan, they're going to pick a genre, and they're going to be like, this is Star Wars, but.
So, and that was actually the argument.
Star Wars is but.
No, so that was the argument that I saw for the reboot/remake was, do they bring the Marvel folks on board? And because, you do. It's like I said, I went back and I watched, I started with Iron Man and watched I watched all of the movies. Yeah. And they drop references and stuff through it. Like, it's a very cohesive, coherent, it's like Law and Order. You can watch every movie and be engaged and life's good. But if you watch them all, you catch shit that you don't catch if you don't. That doesn't really exist in the Star Wars universe as it is now, other than the heavy-handed plot points. Mm-hmm. So do you have somebody go back and redo that and clean up shit like he's making out with his sister in 2 movies, and let's just pretend that never happened?
That really bugs you.
Well, it's been
a lot.
No, I've been bringing it up a lot because I've been bringing it up a lot on message boards because fanboys have been, hey, 2 girls kissing. Right. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back to the incestuous relationship in the original trilogy to make you happy.
How about when the door was coming up and they were going to swing across with a little thing, the grappling hook, and they couldn't shoot their feet. Like, he's like a foot away. Shoot his feet. Like, get on the ground and shoot his goddamn feet.
So, again, I'm betting so the Legends, or whatever they're calling it now,
right,
have some really good stuff in them. If you cut away the other 52 chapters of that 60 chapter book that is completely pointless to the last 6 chapters, and you're like, yeah, that would make a great Star Wars movie. Like, they've got the Dathomir witches riding rancors, fighting with forest lions on a jungle planet. That'd be rad as hell. I'm down with that.
Well, and I'd still.
And you can run Baby Yoda movies till the end of time.
Oh, right now?
So hot
they're
right
not
now.
Fast tracking the shit out of that guy.
Right.
They're idiots. No, but like I'd still love to see a Thrawn Heir to the Empire trilogy, which, if you were smart, you could retcon a little bit and put into the Rise of the First Order context.
Fans will still get pissed.
I mean, they're going to get pissed no matter what. The thing is that the internet is a hate machine.
Yeah.
You will get hate.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I talked about focus groups. They're going to be the death.
And 6 tweets become a BuzzFeed article. Then every news group in the U.S. picks up on the BuzzFeed article, and then it becomes news.
Well, that's why I think they should just start new. Don't go to the Knights of the Republic. I'd love to see it, but then the fanboys, who maybe I represent a little, can just there's nothing to stand on. This is new. This is moving forward. You can't go back and say, oh, the Knights Republic or this game, too bad. This is it. I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with let's just have a Star Wars podcast from now on.
I'm down.
I'm down.
Still got Echo Station floating around. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Why were there more Snokes on Exegol?
Because they were clones.
Why did he need more than one?
Because he was trying to figure out. They were very. Alien Resurrection clones. They were kind of
Yeah, I don't know if you know, Sidious is not Camino, so he doesn't.
Yeah, they weren't quite right.
Oh, I just assumed it was Crunch All You Want.
Right. Yeah.
This was running out of gas.
Some of them had to ride the short bus to Camino. On that note, we're gonna we got to cut this thing off. We could talk about Star Wars till the cows come home.
We always can.
This has been a fun-filled post Star Wars episode of the IT and the D Show. I'd like to thank Dave Santia. You can find him and his artwork at davesantia.com or on Facebook or on YouTube. Greg, you can find him at the Ann Arbor IT and the D events. Jamie Mouton, you can find him at some random bar in Team Rehab or at some bar in Troy.
At a more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yeah. And then, on behalf of Bob, Dave, and Randy, do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.
Be good, guys.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.